Santa Claus is real and immensely powerful. Ever wondered who sits atop the cosmic power hierarchy? DC Comics gave us an official answer, and it wears a bright red suit. Most casual readers assume Darkseid only fears the Justice League. That assumption is completely wrong. The holiday spirit is apparently stronger than the Omega effect. Back in 1998, writer Ty Templeton dropped DC Universe Holiday Bash number 2 into comic shops. Tucked inside was a brilliant story named Present Tense. This short tale established something truly wild. Every single Christmas, a merry old man invades the scariest planet in existence. Apocalypse is a literal burning hellscape. Massive fire pits bake the surface while endless swarms of parademons patrol the skies. Armed forces stand ready to vaporize any intruder on sight. Elite guards watch every single sensor display. The defensive grid can stop entire galactic armadas without breaking a sweat. None of that matters to Saint Nick. He glides past the high-tech sensors like they're cheap toys. Parademons fly around trying to spot him, but they fail every time. Lasers fire into the dark and miss completely. The entire planetary defense network turns into a massive joke. Why break into the most dangerous fortress in the multiverse? To wage a grand war? No. To save captured heroes? Not even close. Santa has one simple mission to complete. He delivers a single piece of coal directly to Darkseid. The Dark Lord sits on his throne and seethes in pure rage. His ultimate power means nothing in this moment. He cannot stop the delivery. He cannot track the getaway. Santa hand delivers the coal, chuckles softly, and zips back into outer space. Why? Pure spite. What's worse, the scariest villain in reality just has to sit there and take it every single December. Joker has diplomacy immunity. Catching a mass murderer usually means they go straight to a dark prison cell. Batman assumed that exact outcome after another bloody tragedy in Gotham. Instead, the legal system got hit with the ultimate prank. The infamous 1988 storyline Batman: A Death in the Family completely shocked readers everywhere. Writer Jim Starlin wrote a deeply brutal arc where the crown prince of crime beat Jason Todd with a crowbar. After the second Robin died, the killer needed a quick escape plan. A vengeful Dark Knight was hunting him down. Normal criminals run to hidden safe houses and change their names. This clown decided to leave the country entirely. He flew straight to the Middle East to find a powerful political ally. The villain managed to get a real meeting with Ayatollah Ruhollah Khomeini. A bizarre political deal happened almost immediately. The real-world Iranian leader decided to help the killer dodge American justice. He officially appointed the clown as the new Iranian ambassador to the United Nations. International law slightly protected a total psychopath from any potential arrest. The villain flew straight into New York City to celebrate his new political career. He showed up at the global headquarters wearing a traditional keffiyeh over his pale face. Batman stood nearby with glowing red eyes, completely unable to touch him. United States agents watched in total silence because striking an ambassador creates a global war. What makes it even crazier is that he actually gave a full speech to the General Assembly. Naturally, the speech was just a distraction to spray lethal laughing gas all over the world leaders. In the end, the entire foreign policy apparatus of Earth got tricked by a guy who wears clown makeup. Guerrillas secretly built Utopian City. Imagine holding an entire futuristic civilization from satellite cameras for centuries. Most people would pick a hidden underground bunker or a deep sea trench. A bunch of giant apes picked a tropical jungle and did it with style. Comic book history gets pretty wild during the Silver Age era. Back in 1959, writer John Broome introduced a strange concept in The Flash number 106. A magical meteorite crashed into the heart of the African continent hundreds of years ago. This strange alien space rock radiated glowing cosmic energy into the surrounding jungle floor. Local wildlife absorbed the weird cosmic radiation over many generations. Standard primates suddenly developed massive brains and super high intellect. On top of that, every single ape gained powerful telepathic abilities. They could read minds and talk through mental thoughts waves effortlessly. Instead of starting a giant war with humans, these smart apes chose peace. They built a hyper-advanced metropolis packed with flying cars, towering glass domes, and clean energy devices. How did nobody spot this huge place from the sky? Invisible energy shields wrapped around the entire perimeter to create a fake jungle illusion. This hidden kingdom became a major geopolitical power inside the DC universe. The benevolent king Solivar took the throne and ruled the citizens with great wisdom. He eventually formed a strong friendship with the Flash to protect the planet. Not every resident wanted peace, though. A massive villain named Gorilla Grodd constantly plotted to overthrow the peaceful government and enslave all humans. But that's not even the worst part. The Justice League actually had to respect the legal sovereignty of a city run entirely by talking primates. Honestly, Planet of the Apes feels a lot less fictional when they hold legitimate seats in international summits. Aquaman can control humans. Talking to sea creatures sounds like a pretty useless power when fighting cosmic threats. Pop culture spent decades mocking the King of Atlantis for his aquatic telepathy. Comic writers eventually got tired of the constant disrespect and dropped a massive bomb on readers. During the late 1990s, legendary writer Grant Morrison took over the main JLA series. In issue number 4, the team fought a group of dangerous white Martians called the Hyper Clan. These ruthless alien invaders pretended to be peaceful superheroes while secretly planning a global takeover. A powerful alien speedster named Zoom moved way too fast for normal physical attacks. He zipped around the battlefield like a glowing red blur, completely mocking the ocean hero. Fighting him with standard punches was a total waste of effort. The King of the Seas did not bother throwing a single punch. Instead, he locked his glowing blue eyes onto the alien speedster and activated his mind powers. Aquaman explained a terrifying secret about how biology works across the entire universe. Human brains and Martian brains both evolved from primitive marine organisms millions of years ago. Deep inside every advanced skull sits an ancient structure called the basal ganglia. People often call this the specific area the lizard brain. It controls basic motor functions and physical movement. The hero hijacked that ancient marine nerve center with a quick mental signal. The alien speedster immediately collapsed onto the hard floor and suffered a massive body-raking seizure. What's worse, this scary attack permanently stopped the villain right in his tracks without a single drop of blood spilled. Next time somebody jokes about talking to a goldfish, just remember he can shut off your nervous system like a light switch. Batman's nightmares create universes. Bad dreams usually leave you sweating in a tangled bedsheet. A dark mood might ruin your morning coffee, but it ends right there. Gotham's favorite detective does not have normal human dreams, though. Writer Scott Snyder completely reshaped the cosmic map in the 2017 epic event Dark Knight's Metal. The story revealed a hidden basement sitting beneath the standard DC multiverse. Creators call this terrifying cosmic abyss the Dark Multiverse. It operates like a massive swirling forge of dark energy fueled by subconscious thoughts. Every single bad thought, paranoid fear, or awful nightmare instantly spawns a real physical world down in the dark. Because the Dark Knight suffers from massive trauma, his mind acts like an endless factory for terrible realities. What if he stole the Flash's speed to save time? A dark universe instantly pops into existence to show that exact disaster. What if he accidentally killed the Joker and got infected by toxic gas? Another doomed reality immediately forms deep in the cosmic sludge. Countless twisted versions of the heroes emerge from these short-lived nightmare worlds. These dark realities are inherently unstable and doomed to collapse into dust. But while they exist, billions of innocent lives live inside them and suffer terrible fates. Not to mention, the dark cosmic forge just keeps building new worlds every single time the hero takes a quick nap. His intense paranoia literally causes planetary destruction on a daily basis. The entire multiversal structure simply suffers because one rich guy refuses to get proper therapy. Talk about having a completely toxic bedtime routine. A sentient street travels the world. City streets are usually made of cold asphalt, cracked concrete, and dirty gutters. They just sit there while cars drive over them all day long. One specific stretch of pavement completely breaks every single rule of urban architecture. Surreal writer Grant Morrison created a truly unique character in 1990 for Doom Patrol Volume 2, Issue 35. Danny the Street is a living, breathing piece of municipal infrastructure. Yes, an entire street possesses genuine consciousness and a super sweet personality. How does this stretch of pavement actually talk to people? Through magical signage. Shop windows display cute typewritten messages, banners flap softly in the wind, and printed menus change text instantly. The living pavement proudly identifies as gender queer. Vibrant pink curtains hang in the shop front windows, and colorful awnings line the sidewalks with festive flair. But the craziest part is how the mobile neighborhood actually moves around the world. The whole street can magically teleport into any major city on the map instantly. It seamlessly blends right into the existing city grids without confusing the local residents. Fire hydrants and streetlights just shift position to make room for the new block. Why travel around the globe like a giant urban puzzle piece? To provide a safe haven for society's outcasts. Anyone fleeing violence, bigotry, or simple loneliness can step onto the sidewalk and find immediate safety. The shops offer free food, comfortable rooms, and warm smiles to every single visitor. It turns out a little pile of rocks and asphalt can show way more genuine empathy than most actual human beings. Kryptonite comes in pink. Glowing green space rocks usually make the Man of Steel double over in extreme pain. Red rocks cause random mutations, while black rocks split his body in two. A far stranger color once made a brief appearance in the comics. Back in 2003, writer Peter David wrote Supergirl Volume 4, Issue 79 as a funny tribute to weird old comics. The issue poked gentle fun at the bizarre transformation stories from the Silver Age. Tucked inside the story was a very unusual radioactive rock. The story introduced a bright pink variety of kryptonite into official continuity. Normal green space debris usually strips away his physical strength and leaves him bleeding on the floor. This unique pink rock has a totally different psychological effect on Kryptonian biology. Exposure to the glowing pink material instantly alters the hero's romantic preferences. The Man of Steel suddenly stops flirting with Lois Lane entirely. Instead, he begins acting super dramatic and hit on his male colleagues with over-the-top energy. He immediately turned around to throw huge compliments at Jimmy Olsen's fashion sense. The hero's voice shifted tone as he leaned in close to admire the young photographer's bow tie. He even started batting his eyelashes at other male superheroes standing in the room. The weird effect was completely temporary and played strictly for quick laughs in a single comedic issue. Even so, the bizarre event remains an official part of comic history forever. Radiation from an exploded alien planet can do a lot of crazy things, but turning the world's greatest hero into a fabulous flirt is definitely the ultimate cosmic plot twist. Safe to say, Lois probably kept a very close eye on his rock collection after that afternoon. A chimp is the world's greatest detective. Animals in funny outfits usually belong in cartoon shows for small toddlers. A hairy ape wearing a tweed hat and smoking a pipe sounds like a total joke. It feels completely wrong next to a dark hero like Batman. Furthermore, primates usually do not understand complex crime scene forensics. Yet, Bobo T. Chimpanzee is a genuine genius in modern comics. He is easily one of the sharpest minds alive today. Originally, Bobo was just a simple monkey performing in a normal circus. His boring life changed forever in a strange swamp. His trainer took him to the mythical Fountain of Youth hidden down in Florida. Drinking that magical water gave him eternal life. What's worse, the magic altered his brain chemistry forever. He gained a brilliant mind and learned to talk to humans and animals. Instead of returning to the circus, he chose to study criminal law. He started solving cold cases. Eventually, he set up his main office inside the Oblivion Bar. That place is a hidden tavern for magical creatures. Detective Chimp became a vital leader for the Shadow Pact team. Later on, he helped the famous Justice League Dark plan their battles. What's even wilder, Batman himself actually respects Bobo's massive brain. The Dark Knight asks him for help on weird occult cases regularly. Standard logic usually fails against dark magic. How does he do it? Pure animal brain power. He handles terrible monsters while wearing a ridiculous little hat. It turns out a cigar-chomping ape can easily outsmart the best human cops. Obviously, standard police work gets pretty weird when a hairy primate finds all your hidden clues. Jimmy Olsen's a giant turtle. News photographers usually face simple dangers like bad weather or traffic. Turning into a gigantic turtle sounds like an awful day at the office. It feels like a goofy gimmick made just to sell old comic books to kids. Why would a major superhero story pause for giant monster chaos? Strangely enough, this ridiculous event is canon lore. The full story appears in Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen number 53 from 1961. Jimmy was always getting into weird trouble. During the bright silver age of comics, his life was full of random mutations. One morning, he visited an uncharted island in the Caribbean for a news article. He accidentally bumped into a ray gun made by a mad scientist. The beam hit him right as it crossed paths with a sea turtle. The bizarre result transformed Jimmy into the massive giant turtle man. He grew huge scales and razor-sharp claws. On top of that, he gained telepathic powers. His normal human mind stayed inside the giant monster shell. Superman had to fight his best friend without hurting him at all. Why him? Nobody knows. But this was not even a one-time event for the poor kid. Jimmy regularly turned into an elastic guy or a human porcupine. His job at the Daily Planet came with terrible health hazards. The universe loves turning this normal camera guy into a giant-scaled monster. Honestly, his boss would probably offer him a huge raise for surviving work every week. The alien prison island. Throwing criminals into normal jails usually keeps cities safe for a little while. Shipping every bad guy to an alien planet sounds completely insane. It seems like a massive human rights violation that no government would totally ever approve. Furthermore, catching hundreds of supervillains secretly sounds totally impossible. Surprisingly, this dark plan actually happened in the Salvation Run miniseries from 2007. Governments got tired of villains breaking out of Arkham Asylum and Blackgate Penitentiary, so a secret group made a desperate move. Amanda Waller and her Checkmate team ran the secret operation. They did not use normal space rockets. Instead, they stole boom tube tech from the god Apocalypse. These teleport devices allowed them to snatch villains instantly. They snatched the Joker, Lex Luthor, and Gorilla Grodd off the streets. They dumped them into a deadly jungle world named Salvation. What happened next? Total chaos. The villains immediately started fighting each other for power like crazy animals. The island became an absolute nightmare zone full of blood and lasers. World leaders became terrifying monsters just to clear out their local jails. Humanity showed its dark side by creating a cosmic penal colony. Why? Desperation makes people do weird things. It proves that politicians will literally commit intergalactic crimes just to avoid fixing local prison doors. The Green Lantern rings can be fooled by paint. A magic ring that creates solid light sounds like the best weapon ever built. Aliens made these devices to police the entire cosmos. Defeated by a cheap can of paint? That sounds like a totally embarrassing design flaw. Yet, the yellow impurity was a real problem for a very long time. The story goes back billions of years ago on the planet Oa. The Guardians of the Universe captured a scary monster named Parallax. This evil entity was made of pure fear energy. They hid the monster inside the central power battery. Because of that secret, yellow light ruined the green energy rings completely. A guy in a yellow raincoat was completely safe from power blasts. If a crook painted his gun yellow, the ring could not touch it. Frank Miller made fun of this in All-Star Batman and Robin, The Boy Wonder. Batman painted his entire room bright yellow to fight Hal Jordan. The Batman dressed himself and Robin in yellow paint. He sat back and drank yellow lemonade while mocking the hero. The Green Lantern stood there totally useless. It was the most absurd fight in comic history. The cosmic ring failed against basic craft supplies. Luckily, the writers fixed this flaw years later, but for decades, space cops were terrified of standard-issue school buses and bright bananas. Atlantis has a secret dinosaur kingdom. Ocean kingdoms under the sea are already hard to believe. Finding living dinosaurs under North America sounds like an absolute fever dream. It smashes weird adventure ideas into Arthur Curry's ocean life. Yet this crazy place exists in DC geography under the name Scaratis. The story started way back during the tragic fall of old Atlantis. The magical continent sank into the ocean depths eons ago. Some citizens learned to breathe underwater naturally. Others, however, refused to live in the deep sea. They used dark magic and wild machines to drill into the Earth's crust. They built massive caves deep below the North American tectonic plates. Magical lights kept the air warm and bright down there forever. The climate stayed matched to the prehistoric Mesozoic era. Because of that, huge dinosaurs survived the global meteor crash easily. Tyrannosaurus rexes and flying pterodactyls thrived in total secrecy for centuries. They lived right alongside ancient Atlantean descendants. Giant beasts roam around directly under modern city streets every single day. How? Magic Earth engineering. Subterranean magic keeps prehistoric monsters alive under our feet. Turns out geography class left out the massive T-Rex party happening under the dirt. Batman has a mechanical dinosaur in his cave. Brooding vigilantes usually decorate their secret rooms with high-tech computers. Storing a giant penny in a mechanical dinosaur sounds like a bizarre hoarding habit. Batman is supposed to be a serious stealth warrior of the night. Keeping giant shiny noisemakers in a cave seems pretty stupid. Yet these weird items are real trophies from his classic cases. The giant robot T-Rex came from Batman number 35 back in 1946. Bruce visited a place called Dinosaur Island. A villain used giant robot beasts to attack people there. Batman survived the traps and dragged the giant mechanical beast back home. The giant 10-foot coin arrived shortly after the World's Finest Comics number 30 from 1947. A bad guy named Penny Plunderer used giant coin traps to steal money. Batman stopped the crime and kept a giant copper coin as evidence. Why haul tons of junk into a dark cave? Batman keeps them as personal reminders. He wants to remember the absolute weirdness of his daily job. They help him stay grounded when fighting crazy villains. Moving a massive penny down a hidden elevator is serious work. Apparently, the Dark Knight really just loves collecting giant garage sale junk. The entire multiverse revolves around Superman. Space is a cold and quiet void filled with stars and cosmic dust. Reality operates under strict laws of gravity and physics. Naturally, it seems hilarious that the whole cosmos exists just to care about a guy raised in Kansas. That sounds like a lazy writer lost a bet. Yet this bizarre idea was proven completely real in the famous miniseries Doomsday Clock written by Jeff Johns. In this wild story, the Watchmen world collides with the DC universe. Dr. Manhattan enters Earth to study its bizarre changing history. Who is he? Dr. Manhattan is an all-powerful being made of pure energy. He spends time observing the timeline. Soon he finds a shocking truth about Earth Zero. The world is not just a planet, it's actually called the metaverse. This metaverse acts like a living brain that protects Clark Kent. Dr. Manhattan tries a mean experiment on the Kents. He stops Jonathan and Martha Kent from finding Kal-El's rocket. He assumes the world will just move on normally. Surprisingly, the entire multiverse gets super mad about this change. Reality panics completely. It resets the timeline over and over to bring Clark back. Space physically needs him around to stay stable. The universe ignores physics completely. Instead, it relies on the sheer weight of Clark's existence. What makes it even crazier, the timeline reshapes itself to protect his origin. Every major reboot happens because the metaverse is fixing his story. Turns out the universe is just one massive fan club for a guy in boots. Good luck trying to run a cosmos when a farm boy is the actual center of gravity. Well, that's it for this one. If you liked the video, hit that like button. Subscribe for more and ring the bell so you never miss a drop. Craving more stories from comics, movies, and beyond? Check out this video right here. Cheers, and see you in the next one.